Hello, everyone. My name is Matt, and what I want to talk to you about today is getting a solar system through Atlantic Key Energy, or I think maybe they're now called Lumio. I think there was like an acquisition, or I don't know. Anyways, either one of those, Atlantic Key Energy or Lumio. So I got a system with them, and which the product itself is great. Let me see if I can show you here. Right up there, and they look good. But here's the problem: the company and the business model itself is not great, and here's why. So, initially, when I was approached by a guy named Tony, it was the sales guy. I sat down with him because I was interested in solar, and I just moved here to Florida, and I was like, well, this is great because this is a great place to do it. And when he put together initial estimate and the system size, I had looked at it and I said, this thing is way too small. Like I already knew what my electric bill was in August and into September. And looking at it, I'm like, this thing is like, it's nowhere close to, like, it's not going to offset the cost there. But Tony had reassured me, and he had promised like that they are going to 100% offset my energy consumption. And he was like, here's what we'll do. Like, we'll get this, we'll just do, because, they didn't want to oversize, like they always throw this out there where they're like, well, we're afraid to like oversize your system because you got to wait a full year to get data, yada, yada, yada. But the point being is like, let's get this installed. Let's get some data. And what we'll do is we'll reevaluate the system, right, and your energy consumption. And if it's not meeting the 100% offset, we'll take care of it. Like, this is what he promised me. Again, I was promised 100% offset. So, and I will say, like, for the most part, the timeliness and the installation was actually pretty good. Like, the team did a good job, super timely, pulled all the permits, like, took care of all that stuff. Like, that stuff was good. And communication was relatively good, too. But here's the problem again. You fast forward a bit, and no surprises here. It's not producing enough to offset my energy consumption. And how much exactly? Currently, it's at 57% offset. That is a pretty significant discrepancy to 100%. Actually, they promised me a little north of 100%. So I had brought it up a while ago, actually over 6 months ago. And they're all like, well, let's. I had already said, I already pointed out, look, this thing isn't producing. I don't see how it's ever going to get me to 100%. And they're like, well, let's wait. Let's get at least 6 months of data, and energy bills, and then we'll evaluate the system. And at this point, like, I'm not in contact with Tony anymore. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that particular part of the team is like long gone. Now I'm dealing with other people on the other side of the house or business. So that's kind of wildly frustrating. But another story. So anyways, I'm like, okay, like, let's do that. So 6 months later, and collecting all of the data that I needed, send it all over to them. I get a system review, which to me was kind of a big waste of time, because you could have essentially deduced or concluded the same thing that they concluded today. Just got off the phone. They're saying to me, well, hey, yeah, your system is only offsetting 50, or it's at 57%. And I'm like that's not particularly surprising to me. Well, I'm jumping a little bit ahead there. What they were saying is basically there's nothing they can really do about it in terms of like a pragmatic solution. But what they could do is they could sell me some more panels at a discounted rate of 68%, which would be $750 a panel. I need north of 30 panels. That would be north of 20 grand out of pocket. Mind you, I already I took out a loan for 50 grand for this system here. So they want me to do another 20 grand. And I'm like, look it. And then what they had said was, our system is our system is doing what we estimated it to do that time. And I'm like, well, no, duh. Like, I knew that it was gonna, like, of course it's gonna produce what you said it's gonna produce, but I was promised 100% offset. And I expressed my concern very early on that it was too small, that there was no way it was gonna hit it. But I was assured that you all would take care of it. But here I am, where I'm left paying an egregious amount of money, and I have to pay an insane amount more if I want to get to 100% through them. And the point being is, they're not going to take care of it for me. And they had the audacity to be like, well, you know, that cost us, we're going to have to take a hit on the cost. And it's like, I'm going to have to take a hit on the cost. Are you kidding me? It's 70 grand in total I'll be out of pocket on this thing. That I have to, you know, and you shouldn't have sold me the darn thing in the first place. If I express concern that I'm paying this much and that it's not going to actually, you know, get to 100% offset, don't sell me it if you can't actually follow through on what you promised me. So here's the deal, okay? At the end of the day, you know, I'm stuck with it. So I'm a dummy. So this is for you so that you're not a dummy. So here's what you should do. If you're approached by any solar company, could be Atlantic Key Energy, could be Lumio, I don't know. If it's those two, maybe stay away from them, because while the product is good, their business practice is far from good. But wait at least a year so you know what your actual energy bill is and you know what your consumption is, so that they don't sell you on an estimate, right? And then try to make you feel good about, no, it's all good, let's wait and we'll take care of it for you, because they won't. They'll screw you. Don't do that. Wait a year and then go from there if you want to get solar. But again, in my opinion, avoid them altogether. You see their guys walking the streets all the time, going door to door. It's a terrible business. So that's the gist of it. And I wanted to just bring some awareness and put my review out there for anybody else who might find it useful, who's considering going solar. But not just that, but potentially using Atlantic Key Energy or Lumio. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me directly. You can reach me at mattsilva@hay.com. That's MATSILVA @hay.com.